I think the worst part was the static. Not the cool David Lynch kind. This was more like a dial-up modem trying to connect to the internet inside my skull, 24/7. It turned the entire world into a podcast playing at half speed with a bag over the speaker. I'd be at my prestigious job as a foam artist, barista, whatever, and my manager would be saying words at me, probably important ones about not burning the milk again, and I'd just be nodding, deploying the patented dead-eyed customer service smile. Her voice was just background noise. The only thing I could really hear was the hum. My body was on autopilot, a meat puppet expertly steaming oat milk, but my brain had clocked out and gone on an indefinite, unpaid vacation. My world had shrunk to the size of my studio apartment, which had somehow become a vast, empty sports stadium for my misery. My diet was a cry for help. I was subsisting on what I called depression spaghetti, instant ramen noodles, eaten dry and uncooked, straight from the pot with a fork. It wasn't a meal. It was a transaction. Here are some carbohydrates, body. Please don't die today. Sleep was a quaint concept I remembered from the before times. I'd just lie there, my phone screen a tiny judgmental floodlight, watching the numbers mock me. 2:17 a.m., 3:48 a.m., 4:52 a.m. Every passing minute was a tiny, sharp Lego I had to step on. And in those dark, suffocating hours, my thumb would go rogue. It was a traitorous little appendage. I had graduated from the beginner's course of stalking his Instagram. I was on the advanced placement track now, checking his Steam profile. His gaming account. I'd see that smug little green light. Online now. My heart would start doing the Macarena against my ribs. He was awake. He was probably shooting zombies in the head, moving on one satisfying digital splatter at a time. Meanwhile, I was in here, in the dark, calcifying into a human-shaped salt lick for my own tears. Oh, the performance I was putting on. My friends would text, and I'd let the message sit for 6 hours before gracing them with a single heroic thumbs-up emoji. My mom would call, and I'd find the one corner of my apartment not covered in a monument to my own filth, and pitch my voice up into a perky, everything is fine falsetto. Work is great. Just so busy, I'd chirp, staring at a pile of clothes that was beginning to develop its own ecosystem. The only place I didn't have to lie was the shower. It was my sad girl sanctuary. I'd crank the water up to a temperature that could poach an egg and just stand there, letting it flay the skin off my back. I wasn't doing any of that loud, cinematic sobbing. These were silent, efficient, hot little tears that just leaked out and were immediately washed away. Very eco-friendly. I was convinced this was my life now. A quiet, gray, static-filled box. The hopelessness was a new, unwelcome organ in my body, a lead anchor in my gut that I had to drag everywhere. The change didn't come from some inspiring moment of clarity. It came from scraping the absolute bottom of the existential barrel. It was 3 a.m., naturally, the official business hours of despair. I'd already confirmed he'd logged off Steam an hour ago. What could it possibly mean? And was now doom-scrolling TikTok. I landed on a video of a girl just openly weeping in her car, and I clicked the comments because misery loves company. It was a sea of girls typing "Me too. This is literally me." And then I saw it. A comment with 1,000 likes. It just said, "For anyone in this boat, try the 7-day reset." It sounds like total garbage, but I swear it's the only thing that helped. And then she listed it. Day 1, block on all platforms, no exceptions. Day 2, take out every single bag of trash in your house. Day 3, go to a grocery store and buy one fresh thing. Day 4, watch a movie you loved when you were 10. I stopped reading. A movie? Taking out the trash? Was this a joke? As if throwing away a moldy takeout container could patch the gaping, bleeding wound in my soul. It was the most pathetic, condescendingly simple advice I'd ever seen. But then I looked at the ramen pot in my sink. I saw my own haunted Victorian ghost reflection in my dark phone screen. The static was so loud. And I just thought, fine. It's not like I have a busy schedule of being a functional human to keep up with. Day 1 was the great blockening. It felt like performing open-heart surgery on myself with a spork. I pulled up his contact, my thumb hovering over the button for what felt like a decade. My heart was trying to escape my body. My brain was a brainstorm of idiotic what-ifs. What if this is the exact moment he realizes he can't live without me? What if he's typing an epic apology and my block is the digital door slam in his face? A beautiful, poisonous lie I'd been mainlining for weeks. I took a deep, rattling breath that hurt all the way down and I jabbed the button. Blocked. I went on a blocking spree. I even uninstalled Steam. The silence that followed wasn't peaceful. It was loud. It was the sound of a door slamming shut in an empty house. My thumb kept twitching all day, a phantom limb reaching for the pain. But that night, I slept for 5 hours straight. A thick, dreamless black hole sleep. It was like a mini coma. I was thrilled. Day 2, the purge. My apartment contained 3 distinct overflowing trash cans, each a perfect diorama of my emotional decay. I started in the kitchen. As my fingers dug to the bottom of the bag, they brushed against a crumpled piece of paper. The ticket stub from our first movie. My breath caught. The static roared back. It would be so easy to just keep it, this one tiny, pathetic artifact from the museum of my failed relationship. But the list was so stupidly specific. Every single bag. I squeezed my eyes shut, made a sound that was half sob, half feral animal, and tied the bag shut. I hauled all 3 bags down 3 flights of stairs. The final echoing thud as they hit the bottom of the dumpster was surprisingly satisfying. When I walked back inside, the air was a tiny bit less heavy. Day 3, the quest for produce. Go to a grocery store, no phone, buy one fresh thing. The automatic doors slid open, and the light and noise felt like a physical assault. Too many people, too many colors, too much life. I almost bailed. My mission was to buy an apple. One single apple. I was shuffling past the snack aisle when I saw them. His favorite chips. My stomach dropped into my shoes. I froze, gripping the cart like it was a life raft, and I was sure I was about to have a full breakdown next to the Doritos. But I didn't. I just stood there. I breathed and I forced my feet to move. I found the apples. I picked the shiniest, most perfect red one I could find. Walking out of that store holding that single apple felt like I'd just won a goddamn Nobel Prize. The next few days were a weird, fragile montage. I watched some animated movie about a princess and a dragon, and for 90 minutes, the static actually shut up. Day 4. I put on actual jeans, which felt like a medieval suit of armor after weeks in sweatpants. Day 5. A friend I'd been ghosting for a month texted, and instead of a thumbs up, I wrote, "I can't tonight, but I'd love to soon." It felt like a revolution. Day 7. It was almost midnight. I'd forgotten the last task. I was just sitting by my open window, and the fire escape was right there. On a whim, I climbed out. I sat on the cold metal and looked up. The sky wasn't black. It was a hazy city light purple. And for the first time in what felt like a lifetime, I just noticed stuff. A distant siren. People laughing on the street below. The smell of someone else's life happening. I wasn't just a sad girl in a sad room. I was a person in a city. A city that was loud and messy and absolutely did not give a damn about my broken heart. It was still here. And this tiny, quiet thought just floated into my head. I wonder what it will be like when it gets warm again. It wasn't a plan. It was just a question about a future. My future. Look, a stupid TikTok list isn't a magic spell. Healing isn't a checklist you can just power through. There are still days the static comes back, that low hum of pathetic. But that list was like someone handing you IKEA instructions for how to be a person again. It didn't show me the way out of the cave. It just showed me where to put my foot next. So if you're out there, marinating in your own misery, I'm not going to feed you some Hallmark bullshit about how you'll be okay. Okay is a meaningless concept right now. But I will tell you to do one thing. One stupidly small thing. Don't even think about day 2. Just do day 1. Block them. Or just take out one bag of trash. Just prove you haven't started decomposing yet. It won't fix you, but it's a start. It's the first shaky breath after you've been holding it for way too long.